A trip to the mountains for a lot of Flatlander guys, it's like a bucket list thing.
When you're on the trail, it's about the corner. It's about tackling those bumps or coming over all those different rollers, whereas the mountains is going to be very, very different. Got my first snowmobile when we were very young. It was way too big for us. It was a 70 Ski-Doo Olympic. My brother and I each had them. Dad said, here you go, have fun. Could barely see over the handlebars and squeeze the throttle and away you go. So we rode around the field in our house until it was pound flat. And you needed a full service garage to keep the sleds running, and Dad was back and forth getting us unstuck all the time. That's basically how it started for us. So I've been doing it ever since. Well, being from northern Minnesota, you're considered a flatland snowmobile rider. So going to the mountains is something that everyone aspires to. Me, for sure. It requires more skill, more talent, there's more risk involved. So it's all of the things that riding snowmobiles kind of means to me, but to the next level. So as we're getting ready for this trip, you have to think about the different terrain that we're going to hit. And you know, I'm used to trail riding here. I can imagine how much different it's going to be. Because when you're on the trail, it's about the corner. It's about that rolling hill that you're going to carry some speed and maybe lift the sled off the ground a little bit. You know, it's about tackling those bumps or coming over all those different rollers. Whereas the mountains, I'm assuming, is going to be very, very different.
Trip to the mountains for a lot of Flatlander guys, it's like a bucket list thing, right? It's that dream trip that just adds a new challenge to off-trail snowmobiling.
When you talk about prepping for a trip like this, gear selection before you leave, a little bit of research is a key piece of it. Riding on the trail and riding in the mountains is very different as far as your physical activity level. So less gear is most likely what I will take. I'll take a shell versus a lined coat. I'll take smaller, thinner, long underwear. In the mountain, it's about being light. Everything has to be breathable.
A lot of the draw to Grizzly Lodge here is that we're off the grid. The lodge is located literally right on the mountain. 5 minutes you're in the alpine on your sled riding untouched powder the majority of the time. When we have new people come out that are been exclusively trail riders, they usually show up a little bit tentative, a little bit worried about the mountains and not riding there before. And usually it takes 2 or 3 stucks, get the heart pumping, and you can see them start to relax and realize this isn't, you know, a big competition. We're out here having fun.
You need to check your experience level somewhat at the door when you come out here, because some of the skills relate, but many of them do not.
We're gonna do a little side hill here. It's on the right-hand side, so you're gonna want your skis pointing down the hill slightly to the left, which will allow the snowmobile to lean into the hill.
Okay.
So you'll give it an initial little squeeze of throttle, a little burp of throttle, which will help you get the sled up out of the snow and lean into the hill. And then from there, you can just use the balance of the snowmobile and the throttle to control your side hill.
Okay, I'm gonna give it a try. See what I can do here. Confidence is key, right?
Confidence is key. So you're looking exactly where you want to go. Got the right idea.
So when you're out there, you're learning. The learning curve can be steep. So when you actually learn it from the guide and then go out and do it, it's kind of like hitting the perfect golf shot. When that feeling that you get where I just completed what I set out to do. I made a perfect turn, or I made that climb and I didn't panic, or the sled didn't get stuck. You know, it's just that feeling of satisfaction.
A couple big challenges we see for guys that haven't ridden the mountains before but are avid snowmobilers that, you know, are trail riders. One is conditioning, because most guys aren't used to being at 6,000 to 8,000 feet on a snowmobile. So the air is thinner up there, so a lot of guys struggle with conditioning.
Not bad. I'm tired.
Secondly, trail riding, 90% of the time you're sitting down, and sitting on your sled in the mountains really doesn't work well. You pretty much got to adjust to standing up and using your weight on the snowmobile to control it in the softer snow.
As far as operating and moving around on the snowmobile, it's 2 completely different worlds. You turn right, lean left, and the sled goes to the left. On the trail, you don't do that. If you do that on the trail, you crash. But in the mountains, that's basically how you have to learn to ride. Everything is opposite. One ski is generally off the ground in the mountains because everything is off camber. You're always being pulled downhill. It's been a learning experience for sure.
I think there's a lot of negative thoughts and feelings about mountain riding just because of the avalanche danger in some areas and whatnot. I highly recommend anybody coming to the mountains to take a simple AST1 course, which is an avalanche skills training course. It'll just give you some basic knowledge on recognizing avalanche terrain and making wise decisions. It's super smart to check the avalanche forecast. Avalanche Canada is a wicked website with great forecasting and just gives you a heads up on the information that's key, especially when there's new snowfall and specific conditions happening. And then ride with people that are experienced in the area, right? There's no replacement for people that know the terrain and know suspect spots and whatnot. We really try and encourage people that there's a lot of really good safe riding out there, and you can come out and experience the mountains without being put into harm's way. So it's pretty cool to see some guys come out that haven't been in the mountains before and see them experience that trip of a lifetime, really. I've recognized over the years that snowmobiling is one of the things for myself and many other passionate snowmobilers that it's like a freeing experience, in that when I get out of my sled, even to this day, I'm like excited about it to get out there and ride. And it like clears your mind. Everything just fades away when you're just cutting through the trees and carving the powder and hitting the odd jump here and there. All those stressful things in life that you might be holding you down some days, it just floats away. And I know a lot of guys share that with the fact that you're just on your sled out in the mountains. You don't really have a particular destination or a way that you have to do it. It's just you're out there to have fun.
To get out there and actually do it, there is a learning curve to it. In the mountains, it's a whole different ballgame. Balance is critical. All these different things that we've learned has been highly enlightening. I have a new appreciation for this type of snowmobiling. So yeah, this really truly has been a trip of a lifetime for me.